Hello everyone, today we are going to paint this beautiful lady, and in the kit, if you purchased from me the kit, you have the reference photo, which is like a nice cardstock, so you can reuse it as a card or just to keep for yourself. You have a palette with all the colors you need for this project. You have a little brush. You have the outline. For outline, I put also carbon paper that you can use to transfer it to the watercolor paper, and you have 2 cards of watercolor paper to make this project. As well, everything is packed in this nice in this nice bag, so you can reuse it to keep your project or use it for something else. Let's start. So first thing that I want to do is to transfer the outline on my watercolor paper. For painting, I use the rough side of the paper. You can touch the papers that I put to you, and you see that one side is smooth and the other one is rough. And it's just because it's giving a nicer texture to the finished project. You will need your carbon paper. We use the shiny side we put down on the card, and then the outline on top of it. Now, when you are transferring the outline, you might be using a little bit too much pressure. So what I like to do is I take just a piece of tape. I tap it on my clothes so it won't be too sticky, and I fix it to the table. So like this, I can lift up the outline and see if the pressure is not too much. So now I will just start tracing the outline. I will make a couple of lines, and then I want to pick and see if it's enough pressure I'm putting on it. Seems to be okay, so I will just continue. And transfer the whole picture into the watercolor card. Okay. Now remember that the outline there is just to give you like general lines. This is not a coloring page, so you are welcome to make your own pattern on the kimono of the lady, or it doesn't have to be exact lines. It's just to help you to give the general picture. But this is your project, so it's your interpretation. And remember, this is just the paper, you know. If you make in the end you don't like it, it's just the paper. Take another one and make a new one. That's how it goes. Okay, I think I'm done here. So I'll see what I transferred here. And yeah, it's not bad, but a little bit dark for my eyes because the watercolor is transparent. So I don't want the harsh lines of the pencil will be visible. So what I'll do, I just take the heavy duty and this red eraser, and I go over a little bit the lines just to make it a bit more subtle. Like this, the watercolor will not see through, the lines will not see through the watercolors. That's it. Okay, and I think that's okay. The hand a little bit too big in my eyes, so I will just make it a bit more discreet here. Yeah. My next step will be activating the colors on the palette. If you don't have the palette that I prepared in the kit, then it's no problem. You have your own watercolor. Watercolor is just, let's see, what hues did I use for this project. And you can do the same, or you can choose your own, just totally fine. I'm using just a plate which was chipped a little bit, and I didn't want to throw it away, so I use it for my as a palette. And a cup of water, and I have also a paper towel just to clean my brush in between the paint. So we have the yellow. You can activate your colors on the plate and see which colors you have. You have black. We have kind of purplish, lila. What else is here? Blue. A very nice blue. This was as magenta for the kimono. We have green also for the kimono, and we have a little bit of scarlet red. It's for the flowers and the decorations on the head. So this is the colors they are going to use for this project. I want to start with the skirt part of the kimono. So for this I will make a wash, and I will make it around the pattern because I wanted to keep it bright yellow inside, and if I put magenta then it might look a bit different hue. So I just make a little wash with clear water right around this shapes what I made for the skirt. Okay, now I will take from the magenta color and just drop inside the water and let it spread. Just tap, tap, tap. I want to make it in a way that it's not one flat color, but it has like light spots and darker spots. So just use the water what you just applied and introduce to the water the pigment. If you see that the color is a little bit flat, like covering the same, then just add a little bit of paint here and there. Okay, we will come back to this to fix it a little bit later. Once the watercolor dries, it becomes lighter. So if you want more vivid colors, you should put more pigment, or just layer it up. So after the first layer is dry, you just add another layer in the places that you would like to be more vivid and stronger color coming through. So I made it here around the pattern. Okay, now I'll wash my brush and I will just make another wash on the other side of water, clean water, just around the shapes on the skirt. And the other side might bleed, as you can see, but that's totally fine. I want to have this effect of different texture on the material of the kimono. Okay, so I will go into the line here a little bit, so the paint from the other side might bleed. and it's already making a very nice texture. Now I'll take the paint from the palette and I introduce it to the water on the skirt. I'm saying skirt, but I'm not sure that this part of the kimono, it probably has its own name. I should really check it out and use the right term for this part of the dress. So you can see this side is already a bit dry, so I want to add a little bit more color. Now, as you can see on the reference photo, the colors are a little bit different. I printed it in a printing company, so it's not even a colorful copy of the project. So it's a little bit different, the hues here, but that's okay, because you know, you can make any color for the dress, for the kimono. You can choose different combination of colors if you have your own watercolors and you would like to use them. This is totally fine. Okay, so this is the lower part of the dress. So now I want to do the same with the upper part of the kimono. For this I will continue with the same technique. I will put some clear water in between the flowers because I want to keep them light. Now, as I see, my brush is a little bit pinkish color has, but that's okay. I'm going to wash it properly. Okay. Now I will take from the green and I will introduce the pigment to the water on the paper. Again, tap, tap, tap. As you can see, my brush strokes, I'm not using the like petting, but just tapping. Yeah. And as long as I have water here, I will just continue to tap the color in. Again, some places it will be lighter, some places it will be darker. As you can see on the reference photo, there's a lot of texture in the upper part, so I also added some darker places. We will do it later too. Okay. I'm continuing to fill in. Oops, it's a little bit too green. I didn't put enough water here to the end of the sleeve, so I'm doing it now. And then I will put the pigment, the color paint itself, on the water part. Now you have to be very careful next to the skirt part, the lower part of kimono, because green might bleed inside if it's still a little bit wet. So just pay attention that it's not bleeding in, because we don't want to mix. I want to keep it very vivid green part and the pink part of the dress. So just keep an eye that it's not bleeding inside the skirt. Okay, the green part is ready. now I will work on the hair. I will activate the black, and I'm just going to paint the hair black and let it dry, and later on I will add a little bit of details to the hair. Now, as you can see, I'm continuing to tap because I still want to have a little bit of difference in the different part of the hair. So some of it will be a little bit lighter, some of it will be a little bit darker, just to have this interesting texture. Okay, here we go, the second part, the hair. Then I have two little parts here. Then I have a little decoration for the hair. Also the flowers, don't mix it up with the hair itself. And then I have hair coming this way. And there will be a little decoration on the top. Okay. I have also these two little sticks. If the part of the hair is not too wet, you can just pull these little kind of sticks out. Okay, and you have like a little detail here. I will lift it up closer so you can see. Okay, so here it is. So now what I want to do is I will take a little bit of green color and I want to define the flowers. So I will make a little bit of darkening around them. Even though the paint still didn't dry, that's okay. I'm not using water. I'm using only paint that I take from the palette. And then make a bit definition of the flowers. Okay. I still can see the lines that I made for outline. So I can just fill in a little bit around. Also I have the lines of the sleeve, which are coming here in, but I will add them later on when most of it dries. Okay. I will do it from both sides. Now, if you made it already, you can definitely skip ahead. Or you can stick the path and do it a bit slower. Here we go. I don't like so much this very sharp lines, so here on this side, so what I will do is I will just blend them a little bit. I take just water and blend them. So it won't be like you took a marker and you made the flowers. Okay, so it will have a little bit more realistic look. There you go. My next step will be the yellow pattern. I will use the yellow color for the pattern and for the fan. So let's activate the yellow color. Okay. A bit stronger. Sorry. And I will just paint in these shapes what I have on the skirt. Again, if the pigment is not too strong on the brush, that's okay. It doesn't have to be the same color all through, the same intensity. It can be a bit stronger or a bit lighter. All these things, the play between the light and the shadows, it's making texture much more interesting, less flat. It's more interesting for the eyes too, and for the brain to look at the complex things. When you get to the smaller part of the shape, you can use tapping. This paper has so much texture, so bumpy, that you don't have to really push the brush too hard. It will make a lot of job for you, giving this depth to the paint. Some of the paint will stay on the top of the bumps and some of it will go in, so it will create already interesting effect. I want to fill in these shapes just generally, just to give it like a first layer, like a background, because we'll have also some little details on it, on top of it, which you don't have to do, but it's giving some interesting element to this kimono. Now this painting came to me as a nice memory. I made it after our trip to Japan, and one of my favorite places what we visited, it was Kyoto. And you know, there is a special place there, like a whole part of the city where you can go and see the real traditional dressed ladies, and you can actually take a part in a tea ceremony and dress up in kimono. So that's what we did with our girls and my husband, and I was wearing something similar to this kimono, so that's why I decided to make this painting as a part of the free series in Japan inspired theme. Under this kimono you have to wear special clothes, like white pants and undershirt, and you have this long belt around your waist. And I have to tell you, it was not easy, because we came to Japan in the end of August and it was extremely hot, so it was not easy at all to wear this clothes. But it was very interesting experience for sure. Now, as you can see, we have here face, right? Like she is looking a little bit side, but I don't want to make a very obvious line for the face. So how do I go to make it happen? By painting into negative space. So now I put some yellow here, and I'll try to mix some yellow and magenta and give a little bit of different hue to the fan, a bit darker. So just mix the yellow and magenta on your plate. It will have this burnt orange color. And closer to the face, make it a little bit darker. And by putting this extra color here, the face will pop. You see? Now I don't want to leave it that obvious, the addition of this color, so I will just, with clean brush, pull it a bit up. Now I will leave it to dry, and maybe I will introduce more yellow here. It's a little bit too much for me, so I'm going to take off a bit, just with the clean brush. Okay, and we have also this part of the kimono. With open back, I will take some magenta, and I will just paint in this neckline. It goes here. Now for traditional ladies, what I saw on the streets of Kyoto, when they are dressed up, all dressed up in this beautiful clothes, they have also makeup, right? So there is kind of like a pinkish line here on the neck. So I will do it extremely light. I will take some magenta, put it on a plate, and dilute it with a lot of water, so it will be hardly visible, and I will just make a little kind of line. Very, very light. That's it. So you can see here, just very light. Now in between the upper part of the kimono and the lower part, there is a little belt here coming out. You can see a little part. So I on purpose left here place. If you painted it over it, it's not a problem. I just want to take a bit darker color. Let's say I would take a blue, and maybe I'll mix it because this blue is very bright. I will mix it with some magenta. Okay, a bit more blue. It will have this nice dark purple. And I want to decorate here. This will be like a belt which is like looking out a little bit. That's it. I'll leave it at that because it's very wet, so I'll leave it to dry. Now before I go into the details, I want to make a little wash around this lady. I will put just water to wet the paper. Now the wash you can make obviously any color you want. It can be blue, it can be purple, and try to make it all around her. Just water, clean water. Okay, and as you can see, I make the wash here darker next to her, more like a shadow, and then spreading the water a little bit further. I think I'll take the blue with a little bit of magenta, and I'll put around her. This will help the picture to pop up a little bit more. And for example, you can see also hand better because of the negative space that I painted around. Now I put water before because it helps paint to spread. It's not that dry, it's more like a wet technique. Here as well I want the neck to stand out, so I will see it. For this I will put blue in the negative space for the neck. A little bit around the decorations, okay? So this is like a darker. Now I want to wash my brush with just clean water to spread further. This project is all about this loose painting, so you learn to let it go and give the watercolor to do its magic. And for this you just need clean water and to let the paint live its own life on the paper. See, I just put a lot of water, spread the paint. If you have a place that, for example here, the line is too obvious for me, I wetted the place and I put on the edge of this line a bit more pigment and continuing to spread it. Here we go. So she's like in a dark night, going into the dark night. Okay. Now I will leave it to dry a little bit, just a couple of minutes. And until the whole wash is drying, I want to make the details for the skirt. Now I think I'll go maybe with the purple. I want to see how it will look, because here I have like a little reddish color, but I want to try a new one on this one. Let's see how it will work out together. So just with tip of the brush I want to make the shapes. Okay. If you don't feel confident enough and you're afraid that you will ruin, you can make any other pattern inside these details. Okay. But again, it's just a paper. You can practice and then just toss it and start over, take another one. The more you make, the easier it will be for you to create. Also, you learn to let go of the control that you want to keep over the paints on the paper, because watercolor likes to make its own thing. So I will continue making this until I filled in everything. Okay, I finished decorating the skirt. Now I want to make the color a little bit brighter, a bit more vivid. So I just take this magenta from the palette and I apply here in the middle a little bit, a bit on the sides, just to make it stronger. Okay, and there is one more detail that I have to do is the flowers. I want to make the inside of the flowers on the upper part. Okay, what I will do is I wash my brush. I will dilute on the plate a bit of green, some water, and I want to apply inside the flowers. Just if the tip, it's a little bit too much for me. Just if the tip. You don't have to do it, you can also make just like a dot or something inside. It's your creativity here. Once it's dry, I will put dot in the middle also. And some of them, not all of them. Just some. Okay. I'll fill up this one. Here we go. Now I will wash very much the brush. I want to make this nice decorations on her hair. I will activate the scarlet red with your orange. No, it's an orange, sorry. I said wrong color. So I will put some this orange on this little decoration here inside the hair. Then I have like little beads hanging down. And then I have the flowers on the hair, like a little crown. And then I have also flowers on the right side. I think I'll make them maybe this purple, the blue, like this part, like this part of the belt. And just tap, tap, tap. Don't fill it up totally, leave a little bit light spots, okay? So it looks a little bit more realistic. Let it dry a bit and then you can add darker value. Again, just tap, tap, tap. Here and there, okay? It's just like a little like a little clue that there are flowers here. Okay. Maybe I'll give a bit darker corner to the fan. Just a bit more of the shade. Okay. Okay. And I have now to finish the hair. I want to take black, but not with too much water. I take it directly from the palette with relatively dry brush, and I will make like strokes to show the direction of the hair. So here it will be down, here I will make like line in the middle and then to the sides. Okay, then I have the side one going to the sides. Yep, so Here we go. You can wait a bit that it will dry and add more from the darker color. Now that we finished our project, I will sign this picture and I will put it in one of the kits, and one of you will get the original painting that we made now in the class. Thank you for being with me today and creating. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.